In today's video, we're going to talk about the developer mode on Xbox Series X and how to properly set it up for RetroArch. So one of the great things about making videos is that I get to continually learn how to do new things with what I am trying to show off for you guys. And in this case, that's Xbox One/Series X developer mode. In my PS2 tutorial video on how to get PS2 up and running on the Series X, I talked about how you could expand the dev mode storage, but we've quickly encountered the fact that a lot of you have been having storage limitations despite setting it really high. So digging into this myself, it looks like dev mode actually has a hard limit of about 20 gigs of file size that you can actually put within RetroArch. So it means setting your dev mode space above this is pretty much useless. All it's doing is taking up your retail space so you can't install as many Xbox games. If you fill up the 20 gigs, you're also unable to run games from USB because the games are actually copied off of your USB drive onto the internal SSD and then ran. So once you fill up that drive, you just can't really do anything, and it's a huge headache, I have to say. So today I'm going to show you how to set up a good dev mode environment for RetroArch, and just kind of talk about what we need to do differently here. Like, you will need to start using a USB drive more if you want to have a ton of games. And you can put your most played stuff still on the internal, but you want to leave at least 8 gigabytes free so you can play dual layer games if you're going to be playing the PCSX2 core. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. If you didn't look into my PS2 tutorial and never set up extra dev mode space, I'll go over that now. So on the home screen of your dev mode, you want to press your start button. And that'll open this side tab here, and you will move down to Manage Dev Storage. Press A. Now, by default, it is set to 5 gigabytes, and about 3 of that is used for the mode itself. So that's why there was a 2 gig file limit. If you tried to play PS2 games, you couldn't play anything above 2 gigabytes. By moving this to 10 gigabytes, you'll be able to play games over 2 gigs, but you won't be able to play dual layer games. So 15 gigs will let you do those. But if you want to have just the full capacity and be able to put a couple things on your internal drive, you're going to want to set this to 20 gigs. Now, you could go a little bit over 20 gigs in the storage, but I'd say that 20 is really the good cutoff range here. But if you want to add just the tiniest bit more, you could try going up to 25, but anything beyond this is just kind of a waste. So for my setup, I'm going to stick this at 20 gigabytes because that'll let me play anything I want to and store maybe 1 or 2 games to the internal drive without issue. Now when you click save, it's going to tell you that changing the storage size is going to delete everything that you currently have installed in developer mode. Yes, we want to do that. We're going to set up a new instance of RetroArch again, and just get everything set up again. Now that the Xbox is rebooted, we're going to switch over to our PC and open the Xbox device portal. And we're going to reinstall RetroArch. You can install the official build from the RetroArch website that I have outlined in my original installation video, or you could choose to install the unofficial build that has PCSX2 added in. I'm going to stick with the official build myself, but if you want the unofficial one, I'll have a link in the description below. But anyway, add, choose file, RetroArch, next, choose dependencies, Microsoft VLC libs, next, start. Done. And now that that is installed, we're going to reinstall My Files Explorer as well, so we could get all of our BIOS files put back onto the Xbox a lot easier than using the device portal here. A lot of you have been having issues with that. So adding in My Files Explorer just makes this so much easier. And done. So now a little bonus step for you here, since we just reset everything, and you want to get your PS1, Sega Saturn games, or any other system under the sun that you have a BIOS file for put back in real easily. You could put a flash drive into your computer, and you could copy your BIOS file folder over to your flash drive. And once you have those placed, you could take it out and put it into your Xbox. After your drive's in place, go ahead and run RetroArch real quick. And we're going to take a second to re-update everything real quick. So online updater, Update assets. Man, this is like the 17th time I've updated these. It takes so freaking long. Now update the core info files, controller profiles, databases, and if you plan on using shaders, you could update the slang shaders. After we update slang shaders, we're going to change our video driver over to OpenGL, so then we'll come back in here and update the GLSL shaders as well. Once those are done updating, go back to the main menu, press right on your D-pad, press A on drivers, change the video driver from Direct3D 11 to GL. Press B to go back to the main menu, press left on your D-pad, go down to configuration file, save current configuration, quit RetroArch, and before I forget, press back on your controller, go to view details, change this from app to game, and restart the console. Now reboot into RetroArch. From here, press right, go down to video, go to scaling, enable integer scaling to give your games that nice sharp presentation. Go down to input, hotkeys, and make sure you have a menu toggle gamepad combo. Again, I like to use start and select. You can use any of these available options as you see fit. Now back on the settings tab, go down to user interface and disable pause content when menu is active and when not active. Now press left, configuration file, save current configuration. All right, so RetroArch is now back up and running at optimal settings. So from here, let me give you a little brief demonstration of how to easily move all of your BIOS files from USB onto internal storage. So that way it's a lot easier for you to get these files onto your console rather than having to go through the device portal, because that thing is finicky as none other. So whatever. Quit RetroArch, launch My Files Explorer. And there'll be two folders here. There's removable storage devices and isolated storage. So we're going to go into removable storage devices, removable disk E, find your BIOS folder that you have, so mine's right here, and there's all of your files. So up to this point, I've only covered PS1 and Sega Saturn, and, well, PS2, but I'm not going to put PS2 stuff back on here because I don't have a PS2 core at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my PS1 BIOS, now go to isolated storage, and it puts you inside My Files Explorer's folder here, which is fine. So click on Packages. And this is really ugly, so click on the three little dots and change it to a list so we can see things easier. Now we're going to go to our RetroArch folder. So for me, it has always been the top one here, just a long string of numbers. If you go into it, you can usually figure out if it's the right one because it'll have all of these folders that you need. So go into local state, and yep, there we go. It's our RetroArch folder. We can see everything that we need right here. But anyway, now go into system, press start, paste. There we go. My PS1 BIOS is back. Let's get Sega Saturn back. Removable storage devices, E, BIOS files. All right, this one was MPR- whatever nonsense. Press start. Copy file, isolated storage, same deal, go back to packages, go to your RetroArch folder, local state, system, start, paste. Done. Now, if you do want to put a couple of games onto your internal drive, you have about 7 gigs of storage to play with if you set your dev mode to 20 gigs. You could come in here, press the 3 dots, make a new folder, name it whatever the frick you want, and you could copy your games into that. But I'm not going to do that right now. And you could do this for all of your BIOS files. I'm just doing it for those two right now because that's all I've done tutorials up to. So as I work through the tutorials, I'm going to be copying them in here then. but I just wanted to show you guys how quick it is to get this all set back up. Anyways, once you're done in here, you can go ahead and exit out and reboot into RetroArch. And then you can begin replaying your games. If you want to get your course set back up to how I had in my original tutorials, I will just refer you back to those. That way I can focus on my new ones rather than going back over those now. But hopefully this will help you all out, get dev mode up and running at its optimal, and that way you just don't run into those storage issues anymore. So just remember, only use about 7 gigs of your space that you've set. That way there's enough left in dev mode so you can play higher capacity PS2 games like God of War, and it just should clear up a lot of those issues that a lot of you have been reporting. As always, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. I will do my best to try to help you out, just like this video was in response to some of the issues y'all have been having with the PS2 core. So just let me know. But now I need all of you to do a huge favor for me. Hit that like or dislike button, just depending how much you like today's video. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that sub button. That way it really helps me out, lets you see when I post new tutorials, and just overall benefits everybody. Alright, but that's going to do it for today's video, so until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, stay awesome, and we'll see you back next video.